Liam Lawson has begun defending his stance on the Red Bull seat, voicing his honest thoughts about being replaced by Yuki Tsunoda. While some believed his humility had diminished, it now appears to be the opposite. With Lawson under immense pressure, how will this situation unfold at Red Bull? More importantly, what does the future hold for him now that Franco Colapinto has entered discussions with Racing Bulls? The Red Bull situation has become increasingly mysterious over the past few days, particularly after the Chinese Grand Prix. Lawson's P20 qualification result for both the sprint and main race has raised concerns among the F1 community regarding the expectations surrounding the Kiwi driver. Consequently, an urgent meeting in Milton Keynes is set to take place, with a primary focus on the future of Red Bull's drivers and potential external hires like Colapinto. However, these discussions have put Lawson on the defensive, especially when it comes to losing his seat to Tsunoda. To assert his point that the Japanese driver should not have received the promotion, Lawson expressed doubts about Tsunoda's performance. Reflecting on their past races, he stated, "He can say whatever he wants, but I've raced against him for years in junior categories and beaten him. I did it in F1 as well. He can say what he likes, but it's incredibly tough. I don't enjoy it, and I'm working as hard as possible. There's no room for sympathy in this sport. I was his teammate in F3 and beat him in Euro Formula. We were teammates in New Zealand, and I beat him there too. Even in F1 last season, if I consider all the times he was promoted instead of me, then no, he doesn't deserve it. He's had his time, now it's mine." This is a bold claim from a driver who has yet to make it to Q2 in his Red Bull tenure. It's evident that Lawson is under heavy scrutiny for his recent performances. On the other hand, had it not been for the questionable race tactics from Tsunoda's team, he would likely have earned more points than the 3 he secured during the sprint race. This makes Red Bull's upcoming emergency meeting even more crucial. One thing is certain, Lawson won't surrender his seat easily. His recent statements highlight the tension in the Red Bull camp, revealing just how much pressure he is under. Meanwhile, Tsunoda has fueled the fire, emphasizing his ambition to win and stating that his results speak for themselves. When asked if he could step into the Red Bull seat as soon as the Japanese Grand Prix, Tsunoda confidently responded, "Why not? I'm always ready." In Japan? Absolutely, 100%. Their car is faster. His remarks were quickly cut short by a Racing Bulls employee, making it clear that these discussions were intended to be held behind closed doors. However, with both drivers now making their true feelings public, one thing is clear: the battle for the second Red Bull seat is far from over. Tsunoda still has a point to prove, to Red Bull and to the wider F1 world, that he is the driver they need. But with all the ongoing speculation, the real question remains: is the problem truly the driver, or is it the car that needs improvement before any decisions are made? According to Christian Horner, the RB21 has been surrounded by controversy, as Max Verstappen prefers a highly specific setup that makes the car challenging for his teammates to master. This has created difficulties for other drivers trying to adapt to the car's unique handling characteristics. Horner elaborated on this issue, saying, "Max prefers a car with a very strong front end and sharp turn-in, which allows him to be extremely fast. However, the consequence is an unsettled rear, making it incredibly difficult for other drivers to handle, especially in corner entry. That's where he excels, on the knife's edge of adhesion." Given this, if Red Bull is considering replacing Lawson with Tsunoda, or even a rising talent like Isaac Hajar, a name Helmut Marko mentioned after the Chinese Grand Prix, the solution isn't simple. They would need to adapt to a machine that even Lawson, with experience in DTM and Super Formula, has struggled with. This raises doubts about Tsunoda's ability to transition successfully. While Tsunoda has matured as a driver and shown impressive performances at Racing Bulls, his temper and erratic radio outbursts from previous seasons still linger in the minds of Red Bull's decision-makers. However, Marko recently praised Tsunoda's development, hinting that he may be the leading candidate for the Red Bull seat as early as Japan. Marko stated, "Yuki has changed his management and has been performing at an outstanding level this season. He is in the best form of his career and has made a major leap in maturity. He's a different driver compared to previous years. It took some time, but now it seems to be paying off." A particularly interesting twist in this saga is Marko's evolving stance on Hajar. The rookie was initially criticized for his formation lap mistake in Melbourne, which Marko called embarrassing. However, after Hajar's impressive comeback in China, reaching Q3 and showing strong pace before his team mishandled the strategy, Marko's opinion shifted dramatically. Looking at the positives, Isaac Hajar, who has never raced on this track before, set incredible times in just his second race while making no mistakes. Yuki was right behind him, but let's remember that Yuki is in his 5th season, while Hajar is completely new. The fact that he delivered such a performance is astonishing. In Australia, he was also impressive until the accident. Mistakes happen, but the speed and potential are undeniable. Once again, the central issue circles back to the RB21's handling characteristics. There is no denying that the car is difficult to control, something Verstappen himself has acknowledged. This raises an important question. Is the second Red Bull seat truly an opportunity or a burden? At this stage, it seems more like a curse than a blessing. Since Daniel Ricciardo's departure, no driver has successfully challenged Verstappen in equal machinery. This is why doubts persist about Tsunoda's ability to step up. Moreover, reports suggest that Verstappen isn't eager for a new teammate and would prefer Red Bull to focus on refining the car rather than searching for his next partner. Verstappen didn't hold back when discussing Lawson's struggles, suggesting that the Kiwi driver would likely perform better in a Racing Bull's car than at Red Bull. If you compare the two teams, their drivers are much closer together. It also shows how difficult our car is to drive. I honestly think if you put Liam in a Racing Bull's car, he'd go faster. That car is easier to handle than ours. When I spoke to Liam last year, I didn't think the gap between him and Yuki was that big. Otherwise, Red Bull wouldn't have even considered putting him in the seat. Although Lawson disagreed with Verstappen's perspective, the situation is clear. A replacement is imminent. This will be a major topic in the upcoming Milton Keynes meeting. With all this in mind, who do you think should replace Lawson? More importantly, can Red Bull stabilize its driver lineup by promoting Tsunoda from Japan onwards? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay updated on this evolving story, make sure to check out the video appearing on your screen.